we're right now on our way over to the causeway, finally, to get to actually look at some alligators and hopefully film some of that stuff for you. But what's really been fascinating me about the campground and the area is the way these trees grow down here. I'm not exactly sure what kind of tree this is, but like they sprout out of the base with, like, in this particular case, like several different low arms. And when you see them around the campground and stuff, it's very fascinating. There's nothing like that up north that I know of anyway. It grows like this, so it's pretty cool. Generally, when we're out adventuring on hikes and stuff, we don't get to see a lot of wildlife because the kids are usually making noise and the dogs make a lot of noise. This little walk here, you know, we've got to get up close and personal with, you know, gators and different birds and things. And it's the nice thing about animals that aren't really afraid of you, because they're willing to stick around with noisy kids. This is a pretty cool experience. And it's all stuff that we normally don't get to see up in Pennsylvania, because I obviously don't live up there. So it's pretty cool. There's a gator swimming away. So what do you see?
I see alligators. Collect them. It'll come perfectly. I see them.
Alright, so friends, we just learned something pretty interesting. Is the marsh is essentially man-made and artificial. The fella here from the State Park Service was just testing the water for quality, and if they need to adjust that, or if they need to adjust the level of the water in the marsh, they essentially have gate valves that allow water from that side into this side. And so obviously this isn't fresh water over here. It's, Rachel called it brackish, with a lower salt content than the water on the other side. The marsh was created by the Huntingtons, who owned all this land before it became a state park. So I don't know if they donated it or how that came to be. Maybe I'll look that up for you. But yeah, it was privately owned, and this whole thing was man-made by them in the 1930s. So this is the system here that they open and close to drain the swamp or to raise the swamp as needed. So there's like, I don't know, hundreds of these fiddler crabs hanging about. I can't unfortunately get the camera to pick them up, but I think that's also what I just shown you that's on the sidewalk back there. We've seen several of them actually walking on the sidewalk, which is pretty cool. This is a very, very, very unique ecosystem here. I think we've also determined that the pink birds are not flamingos. Rachel thinks they're snowy egrets.
I think they're snowy egrets. There was a sign over there that had pictures of birds that make this marsh and this pond their home, and one of the pictures was a snowy egret with a tinge of pink, and that's what we're seeing over there. So I want to go back and do some more research and learn if other birds, like the flamingo, based on their diet, maybe turn a tinge of pink based on what they eat.
Yeah, it's interesting. This has been cool. We're headed back now?
Yeah, we're gonna go back to the camper and drop the dogs off and maybe get some drinks ourselves and then head over to the nature center.
Alright, so friends, now we're looking to go over, there's a nature trail.
There's a nature trail. It's going to go around something called Sandpiper Pond, and it will take us over to the nature center, which I think has a touch tank.
So, Sarah definitely likes touch tanks. We've done one at Cape Henlopen. One thing you should note here is all the sites are empty. This place is clearing out. Today is Monday?
Today is Monday, yes.
So it seems like Monday must be like the day everybody leaves, which is smart because you don't want to deal with Sunday. You don't want to deal with Sunday traffic, obviously. All these sites here, though, at Huntington Beach, I mean, they're all extremely spacious, and like, so you shouldn't have any problem. Pretty much, whatever site you want to book, just book it. And it seems like there's a good bit of tree cover, most of them. And like I was telling you about the trees earlier, they form these like caves almost over top of the sites. So it is pretty cool. Well, what do you have to say about that?
I'm glad we didn't go swimming or have plans to go swimming.
As you probably seen in the footage, we did go over to the ocean. We were able to let the dogs swim. It wasn't bad enough that they couldn't go in, but of course it was bad enough they couldn't go in very far.
Yeah,
because like normally Lily she'll go out, but we didn't want that because I mean the white caps and the waves and everything.
The white caps were out, like you could see them to the horizon. It was beautiful still, I mean, but very windy.
We're hoping to actually get in the water tomorrow and enjoy it. But, you know, taking the dogs out, continues to be one of my favorite things about going to the beach these days, because it is a lot of fun. I'm not really a beach person per se, but the dogs certainly make it. And everywhere we've gone recently, we've been able to do that. Sarah was not supposed to get wet, but she pretty much drenched herself. So she kind of looks like a train wreck. But if you think Sarah looks like a train wreck, you should see the dogs right now. So we're headed back to the camper, and then it looks like we're finally going to make it to the aquarium that we've promised you. So that's where we're at. This is a very unique type of situation. We're out here on Pawleys Island, and we've got the ocean over there, and then over that way is the river. I guess you'd call it a river, but it's really unique type of terrain. It's extremely windy today, just like everywhere else. You got all these little sand moguls and stuff here. Pawleys Island's a pretty unique place too. I mean, I feel like it's a higher end as far as nicer places. But yeah, truly unique. Definitely something cool to explore and see new places. Now we just need to keep Sarah out of the water. We didn't get to do the aquarium thing today, so we're going to be doing that tomorrow. I know we keep changing our plans, but with vacations and stuff, you got to be flexible, and with life, you got to be flexible. But today has turned out to be a nicer day than expected, weather-wise. It's supposed to be some sort of hailstorm was supposed to come through, and it didn't. It's just windy, and you can't go in the water, but okay. Well, we didn't miss it.
No, we didn't miss it. We almost missed it.
It's
2 minutes to spare.
Yeah, the sunrise is supposed to be at 6:06 this morning. You can imagine how hard it is to get the dogs let out and get the kids up and over here to the beach, which is a good, I don't know, 12-minute walk or so over to here. We do have some donuts. I know you're probably thinking that we don't do anything original, we just steal other people's ideas, but they're good ideas, so you got to give it a shot.
It's coming up now. It's not that we're trying to steal other people's ideas, but yeah, it is a good idea. It's so worth it to come out and see it. I didn't want to get up this morning, but I'm glad we're out here now.
Today's going to be a long day, friends. We have to move sites in the middle of the day, so we're here at the beach now, and then we're going to go back and get swimsuits on, and then we're going to come back over here, I think. And then eventually, I hope after we move sites, maybe we can take a nap. At some point in time, we're going to take you to this aquarium that we've been talking about for 3 days now. And we've also got a newfangled plan for tomorrow?
Yeah.
For tomorrow. not sure if you can see it, but right there, if you look, it's pretty neat. Like it reflecting off the water and the sand. I don't know, hopefully I can color grade the image so that it actually looks like what I'm seeing. But it's like the sand is like all red in this spot. You can sort of see it. At all the ones we've gone to so far, like the sun was over that way. So this with the sun like at an angle is unique.
Yeah. But that's definitely, I think that's my favorite part, is seeing it reflect off the water.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part.
The waves seem a lot less aggressive than they were yesterday. So hopefully we can actually get out into the water today. Yesterday, there's no chance whatsoever.
I didn't waste any time eating it. I'm hungry.
Baby wants a donut.
I know, he's not getting any of this one.
And we are cheap, by the way. We do buy cheap donuts. But it's okay. Cheap donuts are good donuts.
They're still really good.
Because honestly, a donut's a donut. You can't go wrong. If it's got chocolate icing on it, it can't be bad. Friends, it's Tuesday. It's moving day. And when we booked this trip and we made these plans and stuff, obviously we weren't proactive enough to get the same site for our whole stay, which is a Saturday to Thursday. Now, when we did that, at first I was thinking, it's not a really big deal, because generally it don't take us much to pack up and move. But here, with it being the beach, and just the sheer amount of crap that we have strewn about everywhere, I mean, the beach stuff itself is like, you can probably see it all laid out here. It adds to your trip. And then all of our normal camping stuff, and then combine that with the fact that it's been raining quite a bit, so everything's all wet, and our dinner plans have gotten muddled because of the rain. So now the grills and stuff I just tore apart and put away. I gotta use them again, so I gotta rip them all back out. And whereas if we'd have been able to do what we wanted to yesterday or the day before, I wouldn't have had to pull the grills out a second time. That was kind of my plan, is use that stuff once and put it away. As much as we can, we're just gonna stick stuff in the camper, then we'll just pull it right back out again. And it sucks too, we're just going like 2 or 3 sites down that way to 123 I think, and this is 130. But we do have to dump the tanks, so we got to go over there and we got to check out and check back in, and parking passes, and plus it's the heat of the day. This is South Carolina obviously, so like right now it's 11 o'clock and it's like 90 degrees. It's muggy, it's buggy. The bugs here, the mosquitoes are just like running rampant, and I don't know what happened to our bug spray. People in our site, they have left, so we should hopefully be able to go dump and then get right back in the new site. Hopefully, if they let us, because technically you're not allowed to check in until 2. But since those people are gone, hopefully they'll let us move over. And friends, for this short move, since we're just going to dump and coming back to the site right over here, I'm not hooking up the weight distribution bars, but I'd like to know in the comments, how many of you, for just a short move like this, do you hook them back up or do you not? Our truck, we shouldn't be anywhere near overloading the rear axle. I think if we were closer to capacity, I'd do it for the short move, but given that I think we're like 1,000 pounds under. Let's boogie. I normally don't film dump station stuff, but y'all got a pretty sunrise earlier, so now you're getting the poop station. Our rig doesn't have a black tank flush. I wish it did. I think the next one we're looking at does. That'll be nice. We are going to get rid of the black because I haven't dumped it since we left home. So I don't know how many days that's been. Saturday to today's Tuesday. So not too bad. But we are going to dump it now, and then we won't dump it again probably until the end of Grayson Highlands, I would imagine. That way you don't have to treat it so many times. Because that treatment stuff, it's not cheap, and like I said, there's no reason to it. I think the gray probably is about full after 3 nights here? Something along them lines. It appears we got the whole debacle of moving sites taken care of, and everything went pretty smoothly given the circumstances. So now we drove back over here and we are going to see Atalaya's castle. So we talked about at some point that this whole state park was owned by the Huntingtons, and this was Anna Hyatt Huntington, which was she was a sculptor. One thing I'd like to determine at some point while we're here at the state park is if the Huntingtons donated the land to the state or if it came about some other way. But I haven't seen any signage really, so we might find that out here, or we can ask somebody. So back when the Huntingtons lived here, it says they loved seafood so much that they built this building just for the processing of fresh seafood when they caught it, and they hired employees to keep them stocked with all the fresh seafood, the clams and oysters and all that stuff. And this was where all that was prepared. So this area over here looks to be the stables and also dog kennels. In there it has several pictures of dogs that they own, so that was something that they were definitely into. They, I guess, were breeders of deerhounds. Apparently one of the most prominent breeders of deerhounds in the United States. They also kept horses. This whole structure and area, it was kind of their escape from a lot of the stuff that rich people back in the day would have experienced in like New York and Connecticut, which was where they were from originally. We're going to take a tour here at 2 o'clock, so I'm sure we're going to find out quite a bit more. Another interesting fact is just in there I was reading, during World War II, they actually used this area as a like a lookout to fortify the coast. So the Huntingtons donated it to the U.S. Army. And so much like Cape Henlopen and that area up there, the whole coast, probably up and down the East Coast, was fortified and very well protected, apparently.
Architecture, he had gone on big people when he was a young man and was just fascinated with the culture. In fact, he had a very
They came down here in the wintertime, friends, from New York and Massachusetts, and obviously for the warmth. And actually, interestingly enough, they traveled down here from New York by RV. There's actually, she said, a picture of their RV over there, so I'm going to try to go get that for you. But it's pretty cool because we're RVers, and back in the day, that's how billionaires traveled, so it's very interesting. This was the outdoor studio area here, so they wanted to come in the winter to be warm. She could work outside. They liked to be outside, and she had tuberculosis, so that's what the doctors also recommended, is that she spend time outside. I love all these wood-burning fireplaces. The sign says that they had them in every single room, even the bathrooms. So like this room here, this is Archer's bathroom, and his wardrobe is right over here. So this would have been his wardrobe. I mean, it's very simple stuff. Of course, it was 1930s was when this was built. Then this is the shower over here, and it says he had 7 shower heads. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the 7th up top there. And he was 6 feet 5 inches, so he was tall. Friends, this here is the master bedroom, and it says that back in the day they would have been able to see the ocean out these windows. Of course, you can't now because they had to build a jetty down the way, and that changed the coastline because there was a lot of devastation from hurricanes. And she was telling us that Hugo actually put this whole place 5 feet underwater. This was Anna's bathroom here. I mean, so it's pretty cool. You can still see some of the old fixtures in here. Interesting also that they had separate bathrooms. Now people just want like a double vanity, but back then they had 2 whole separate rooms complete with fireplaces. Friends, this building has been designated a National Historic Landmark in 1992. That's what the plaque says, and it talks about both of them here. But interestingly enough, they were both born on March 10th, and also they got married on March 10th. So it's almost like, you know, you want to talk about meant to be or destiny or whatever. It's very, very interesting. This building, I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. So this is the dining room, and she was saying in the fancier rooms of the house they had a kind of a herringbone pattern on the floor, which is different than the rest. You know, the rest is just your normal how you lay bricks. I don't know what the word is, but I'll show you that too. Well, essentially, look at the walls. That's what the floors was like. But this was the dining room. I think this here's the kitchen. Pretty sure. Pretty cool. Bet you that's probably original to the house.
This home is really cool. Very echoey for a small young child, but it's beautiful. And the courtyard, especially, I've always liked homes that are styled around a central courtyard, and you can kind of have the indoor-outdoor feel. This is missing a little bit more of the Spanish style where there's porches ringing the outdoor courtyard, but this was a Moorish style.
Moorish, he said they used to teach it in like high school and stuff, but I guess not so much anymore, because I don't know, I've never heard of it.
I didn't learn that in school. I am a little bit familiar with what being a Moor means, but I did not learn that in school. I learned it from reading books because I'm a bookworm.
And Atalaya means lookout tower?
In Spanish, it's pronounced Atalaya, and yes, it means watchtower. The center is the watchtower, although it's not a true watchtower. She said it's used to store like 3,000 gallons of water, and the pressure helped give them running water.
Yes. A couple more historical things before we exit. When the Huntingtons bought this was a rice plantation, or several rice plantations that went defunct. After the Civil War, a lot of plantations went belly up. So your billionaires and such from up north, they ended up buying places like this and building summer homes. Brook Green, which is the gardens across the way, the Huntingtons had that in a trust after they passed away, and this was kind of included in the trust, but they're leasing it to the state for like $1 a year or some such thing. The trust is. And I'm not sure if that includes the entire state park or how exactly that works. But yeah, that's how all this land was owned by the Huntingtons, is they were rice plantations, and that's what this whole coastline here was. I guess it was very ideal for rice. But then later, that kind of production moved to like Texas, she said, because there the soil was such that they could use heavy machinery to deal with it, whereas here they couldn't. It had to kind of all be done by hand, and labor was obviously no longer free. That's how that came to be.